white has a very clear threat, a very clear plan of pushing b5. It is much more of a threat than a plan, because if it is allowed, black's queenside collapses, and the last thing you want is to be saddled with a long-term weakness on c6. So the big question for Gukesh, how do you prevent b5? Definitely not by playing b5 yourself. That would yield a big outpost on c5 for the knight. That looks very unappealing, at least to me.
It looks unappealing to me as well.
But the problem is that queen's side weakness is going to be incoming regardless of what is played. Yes, you can get the queen out of the sight of its counterpart by moving it to, I don't know, just e7, just picking a random square. But
b5 is still coming. There's still also knight c5 targeting b7. And either way, the scope of the bishop on f3 has been lengthened.
Exactly. Behind the c6 pawn there is a b7 pawn, which is also a target. And so black, it is not enough to, as you said, to deal with a pin. You also have to deal with the after effects of this diagonal opening up. How is Gukesh going to do that? He's already been thinking for about 8 minutes. I think that the instinct move is something like queen e7, but then again you have to figure out a response to b5. Maybe tactically you can hold things together. One idea that I just spotted is if black plays queen to e7 and white responds with b5. Here I actually think black can play c takes b5, rook takes b5 would be a blunder.
7.
Because of bishop d7. Yeah, this very nasty retreating move, and you might say, but wait a minute, rook takes b7, I'm still pinning your bishop, but no! Bishop takes a4, and black wins a piece. There's too many hanging pieces for white, and the queen is protected. So, for instance, rook b7, obviously black takes the queen, and you're losing everything. Both of your rooks are hanging. But incidentally, white does not have to play rook takes b5 here. This is another bothersome point for black Yovi. I think white can jump into b6, and that knight is wreaking some havoc.
It's gonna go to d5, and that is the definition of an octo knight. And still, black's pawn side weaknesses on b5 and b7, they persist. The bishop on f3 is fantastic. Okay, so queen e7, I'm not sure it's good enough.
Yeah, I don't like queen e7.
Okay, so Gukesh is an active player. And I'm just wondering whether he would... I'm thinking of moves such as rook a7, trying to double up on the a line, and getting ready to meet any b5s with queen a5. That was also a possibility. Tactically, I think it's a little bit dubious.
It's interesting, rook a7, b5, queen a5.
Yeah,
no, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and actually after bc6, it's not that dangerous. You can actually pick up the knight.
Yeah, it's a lovely idea. b5, queen a5. And as you're pointing out, yeah, bc, queen takes a4, and at the end black can simply blockade the passed pawn with the rook, so white is reduced to moving the knight back. But even here, I think white's got a smidge of an advantage. Okay, black maybe plays c takes b.
A very long game, and on top of that, you're exhausted when you get back, and then it all starts again. So I'm of the opinion that the classical time control should actually be 90 minutes plus 30 seconds per move, and that's it.
Yes, I agree completely. That is the... Okay, g5 on the board. Of course, there's pros and cons to a longer time control, but this is a happy medium. Bishop f8, Gukesh trying to reactivate his bishop.
Yes. Okay. What did we expect? Bishop g6? I thought he might try rook to e6. Because I'm greedy. And I just want to go for pawns.
Now maybe you can start with rook a7, just to fully limit the scope of the bishop. You could also push h6. There he goes. Rook d6, okay, also good, just going after another pawn. Why not? Let's take everything that black has.
Exactly. Why be 2 pawns up if you can be 3?
When it could be 3, exactly.
Exactly. Put it in the bank.
Yes, I think this might be resign time.
Exactly. I mean, how do you defend that pawn? You cannot do that. If the rook comes to b5, white will simply pin the bishop against the king, and the bishop is not salvageable.
Exactly. King g7, you just push the king back with h6. There it is, resigns. Great positional game by Giri. Another tough. He will have to take the rest day to recover and come back stronger. He has one